Greetings, Gnorps, and welcome back to the Gnorp Apologue, where today we're going to be checking out some of the unlocks that we unlocked at the very end of the last episode. Not least of all, the ability for our rockets to spawn more rockets, and for our arrows to spawn more arrows. And when our arrows are themselves rockets, then our arrows will be spawning more arrow rockets, which will in turn spawn more rockets. There is a great deal of potential for synergy there. We've also got the ability for frost fire now, which it will be more useful for helping out directors, which we haven't really played around with, so we'll probably play around with those a little bit in this episode. Now, I do want to address one really interesting suggestion that I had at the in the comments of the last episode, and that was to completely skip the Slam Club and just to focus on our GPL. Now, this is something that I have kind of thought about previously. It's not something I've ever tried, but I'm up for giving it a shot, honestly. We'll see how that goes. Now, we're going to want a couple of runners. Now, one of the other things that was said in the comment, though, that's not going to be something that we're going to be able to do. Unfortunately, it was suggested that we should definitely focus on timey-wimey shenanigans. Unfortunately, we don't have time shift delivery unlocked. I could just, at this point, prestige and just go ahead and do it, but we're not going to do that one. So we're just going to play through this one as is. But we are going to be skipping over the Slam Club completely. We'll see how that plays out for us, certainly. But we've also got a little bit of Zybellium to start off with, which is going to be a nice one. Let's help out the runners a little bit over here. There you go. Let's go ahead and get 15 runners straight away. I think that's definitely going to be helpful. There we are. Now, of course, if we're not allowing our runners to get skipped forward, thanks to timey-wimey shenanigans with the GPL, then it's a little bit less impactful, but still, having a lot of runners early on, I think, is just generally a good idea. Right, we're also going to want, we're going to need a little bit more for the Cocoa Cafe. There we are, Cocoa Cafe up and running. Going to need 100 now for us to get the Zybellium collection and just immediately get them out there. There you go. Go ahead and grab that for me. We're going to want, well, I mean, I could just get one Mountaineer just for now. You're actually going out. Oh, look, you've got your cool little hats. You know what? I'm going to get 3 Mountaineers then. Ah, fantastic. I love it when they've got different hats on. It was nice to have the festive hats, certainly, but it did make everything look a little bit samey, didn't it? And I just like it when our little Gnorps have all different colours of hats. I find that quite endearing. Right, you're bringing that back. Fantastic. And our runners are doing a fantastic job over here. Okay, everything's going well. Now, next thing that we're going to go for is the Gnorp Propulsion Lab. If we're skipping Slammers, then pretty much getting the Propulsion Lab up and running. They're going to be our bread and butter damage dealers, ultimately. Archery range is going to be amazing and it's going to be necessary, but mostly for buffing our Gatling gunner eventually. So in terms of actual population that are going to be used for doing damage, it's probably going to be bombers more than anything else. There we are. We've unlocked time shift impacts, teleportation, ultra boost, all sorts of other things. Oh, actually, have we played around with teleportation much before? We're going to teleport to pick up and deliver shards. Teleportation time is 3 seconds and is reduced by all speed bonuses. Carrying capacity is increased by 50% when teleportation is active. That part is really nice. This can significantly cut down on delivery times if you have a lot of low-range damage. We are no longer increasing the range of our fire damage. That might well be worth us doing, if I'm honest. We'll have to have a look at that one, but let's get a couple of extra bombers out there for now. Right, I'm going to want to get an archery range up and running quickly. We're a long way away from the garden, so I'm actually kind of thinking, sure, we'll go ahead and we'll get teleportation. Let's get that one on the go and see how that works. They are teleporting over into the middle, are they? Okay, that definitely works. Oh, that actually does work quite well. So straight in and then straight back. Okay, yeah, no, that worked. They are carrying huge amounts. That is a big help. The fact that we're getting a 50% increase to their carrying capacity just because they're teleporting, that definitely makes this viable. Now, archery range next, because we need to get a lot more damage on the go. And then we're immediately going to pop down 5 more bombers as well. I think that will help out. Right then, archers. I would like fire arrows. In fact, I would also like to unlock the ice arrows, but I wanted to shoot fire arrows for the time being. There we are. And do we have enough for some more runners? Sure, let's just keep getting loads of runners. Well, our collection is equaling our damage at the moment, so maybe not. Maybe not. Let's hold off on that and instead focus on trying to increase our damage output. So another 5 bombers I think, is well in order, and it looks like our fire arrows are going down there, and beautifully we're firing 2 arrows per arrow fired, so that is actually going to help. And this is why having teleportation is going to be a very important one for our runners right now, because all of our damage from fire is super low range. Wasn't a problem before, but now it's definitely going to be a bit of an issue for us. Alright, well, with that going on, we can probably get a couple more damage dealers, but how high is our... Well, yeah, I would say the damage dealing is the more important one. That being said, though, we're not far off break time, and we're not at all far off getting the gun vs. rock. So, actually, I'm going to hold out for gun vs. rock. I'll bring you back when we've got all of that set up. There we go, gun vs. rock is ready. Okay, well, given this then, I'm going to say... since we're firing fire arrows occasionally, let's go for ice arrows from gun vs. rock. Well, that being said, fire damage is the better one, so we'll swap these around a little bit. Right, let's get a rifle Gnorp out there, and then we'll get a second one as soon as we can. This should help us out quite a lot. We've got a load of potential damage over here. There we go. We're probably going to push up towards a compression event fairly quickly. That being said, we can definitely spend a bit on increasing speed here, and then sink a bit more into increased capacity for our teleporting runners. Okay, not too bad at all. Want to get a break time fairly quickly so that we can double their carrying capacity even further, which would be quite remarkable, honestly. Let's continue bringing that up to 5. Okay, we're going to save up now for break time. Could get robotics. Not sure that it's something that I really care about at the moment. Do we have anything else we really want to go for? Obviously, we're going to be getting a Gatling. I think that's the most obvious play to make there. But we do want to continue using our population. Now, we're going to need 4 for the Gatling, so I can only afford 1 for the bomber for now. So, with that being said, I could get a rifle Gnorp and then a Gatling. I think that's actually the better way of doing it. My lord, look at that humongous height over there. We need to increase the digging ability of our Mountaineer Gnorps. In fact, if I can get up to the second one, or rather max this out at 7 columns, that would be perfect. My god, look how quickly that's going up. Okay, this is going up far too fast. Mountaineers, you need to do a better job, damn it. Ah, my goodness. Right, looks like we're about ready to get our Gatling. They're bringing it in at the moment. I could go for the grenade launcher straight out the gate, and I think that's wise. Let's do that. And the Zybellium is almost here. How close are we? Oh, yeah, all right. Okay, fair enough. We're already having the compression event. I guess break time is going to happen on the 3rd go through. Yeah, let's go ahead and set that up right now then. But at least we're getting some decent progress here. All right, Gatling is purchased. There we go. And this also means that we can go for the balloon gunner just as soon as our diggers bring something in. No, go back the other way. Now, we can use this to pull the Zybellium in, and you've just basically got to wait for the light to be completely white. They're actually synced. I didn't notice that before. But you wait for it to go white, so dunk. Now, obviously, I'm actually being a pest right now, since I'm telling my hot air balloon to follow this while I'm pulling it further and further away, because I'm just mean like that. But never mind, you'll eventually get there, balloon gunner. Actually, now I've given them a Gatling gun, that's possibly dangerous. But as you can see, we are now producing rockets automatically. Our Gatling gunner is producing these occasionally from Gatler bullets. Now, we're going to improve those even further, since we're going to give them rocket arrows. There we go. Look at that. That is amazing. Okay, so we've already got huge amounts of damage coming out. 160k versus our paltry 6.12 in terms of collection. We need to improve this by a fair bit, actually. So given that, let's go ahead and upgrade this, grab another 5. We're going to go all the way up to 25 runners, I think. That makes the most sense. Once we've done that, we'll grab Delivery Rush or the Geet Protocol as quickly as we can. We'll see what we can do. And of course, we are going to want to save up to get the increased housing on the next compression event at this point. Now, the Gatler it's not just the Gatling who's firing Gatling bullets, obviously. It's also the balloon gunner now as well. So that will be producing more rockets. So everything is coming together. This is amazing. We're going to have another compression event in no time at all. On that note, maybe it is time for me to get some more Mountaineers. Yeah, probably. Let's go all the way up to 5 Mountaineers. They can help out a little bit. Right. Now, with that done, let's continue pushing this up. 25 is good enough for now. We're just going to increase the capacity. And like I said, wait for Delivery Rush or Geet Protocol to be active. But in the meanwhile, is there anything else I want to grab down here? Well, the garden is obviously something that we need to focus on, but that's going to take me a little while to get to. And I'm not going to worry about that one for the time being. I don't really feel like grabbing time shift impacts right now is that useful for me. I mean, I guess it does double the damage output of my bombers, but we are so heavily in favor of damage right now versus collection that I honestly just need to wait and improve collection more than anything else. So we're going to grab Delivery Rush since that's all speed improvements affect the teleportation. Wow, that actually affected it massively. Oh, of course. This gives it for them for a second. If that were to reduce the teleport time below a second, because the teleporting back seems to happen a lot faster. Yeah, no, that's a big one for teleportation if you've got that active. I didn't even consider that. But speed is obviously also a big one for us, but Geet Protocol is not far away right now at all. Garden is not far away either. We could always get the Academy and spend the Zybellium there, but I would prefer to get the Geet Protocol up and running. So there we go. Geet Protocol purchased, and now we just need to save up to get the YX-1AB rocket system engaged, and also enough money for a house. There's always something we need to spend my money on in this game. Feels like real life. And there we go. The YX-1AB rocket unlocked. Let's get that on the go. And also, while we're doing that, I'm probably going to invest a bit more into the runners. But since we have that bit of Zybellium just hanging around, we're immediately going to go for vulnerability. That seems like a perfect one for us to go for. And to be fair, they're actually delivering a lot of this material quite quickly. I'm reasonably impressed. At this point, we can max out our digging width. And let's get a couple more Mountaineers up there. I think we're going to go all the way up to 10 Mountaineers. That should be... Oh my good lord, with vulnerability active, that is just bonkers. Okay. We're getting no time at all. We are increasing our collection, I mean, to be fair, but the rate at which we're increasing our damage is dwarfing our increase to collection, frankly. They're not even comparable at this point. Right, we're going to continue to upgrade capacity as quickly as I can. I'm thinking, well, to be honest, we're getting to the point where we're going to be getting in a million plus relatively soon. Certainly within about 2 minutes we'll be able to get it. Right now it's more like 3 minutes, but I don't think it's going to be very long for us at all to get up to Garden, and I think that's what we're going to use the Zybellium that we've got over there for. For now, though, let's go ahead and get another 1 or 2 rifle Gnorps, since they're going to be able to help out a lot, especially having the ice down here. I guess, well, of course, yeah. Ice exists alongside fire right now, but it still has the overall shatter effect that we have going on. So depending, might be worth us switching over to ice for the rifle Gnorps as well. Yeah, sure, we'll switch over to ice for the rifle Gnorps and fire for the Gnorps at the back there, at the archery range. That should dramatically increase the chance of getting the frozen effect, though bear in mind that the frozen effect does have a cooldown normally. However, during the frozen effect, although further frost arrows don't increase the duration, they do get double damage for the period that it's set as frozen. So we're still going to struggle a little bit with timing, but I think we can get up to that. Right, we are almost there for the garden. This is going to be a brand new thing for us to play around with, so let's get that on the go. There we are, plenty of shards there, perfect. And the garden is rather a large structure, you might notice. Free juice. I love the animation on the garden. Now, you've got different flowers, red, green, and blue. And a couple of things I want you to pay attention to, because I kind of geeked out about this. I love these little things. The mixture of petals that get dropped in here and compressed into a block will be represented by the pixels in the block. The color of the resultant juice will be based on the spread of RGB petals in it. So it is actually adding up the RGB values, and it's creating an appropriately shaded bottle. And I'm not just talking that it gives you brown if you've got all three, or what have you, like if you're mixing blue and red, it'll give you purple. It will give you the shade of the color. It is actually calculating this based on the RGB involved in this block. As you can see, all the different petals went in there, and each one is a pixel of color, and that will be represented in this. And then that'll all get filtered down here into different vials. First, we've got to juice it, so we've got a kind of a mucky brown color right now. A little bit more on the green side though, and it's going to continue to do this. This will fill up, and then once that has been suitably filled, it will then get boiled and distilled, and then it'll be turned into various juices. And these juices will be drunk by our Gnorps with varying effects. Now, if you want to know what they do, blue, grow eyes flower. Eyes flowers create directors. Directors sit atop the rock, at which time they have the following effect. +1 to minimum and maximum range to all generated shards. Directors have a duration of 20 seconds, and directors are repelled by fire, which reduces the duration to 2 seconds. However, because we've got frost fire, that isn't the case. Then you've got puke flowers. Puke flowers create spewers. Spewers explode on the rock, leaving acid. When acid is present on the rock, it has the following effect. 1.5 times damage, increase to all damage, and 40% reduction in range for all generated shards. And then finally, you've got the red. Oh, there we go. That's the results of the red potion. And it's draining these slowly down into a single potion. And then you've got the spewer over there. I'm very sorry for what's about to happen to you. Oh, my lord. It is now acided. The Hulks come in here. This is the result of the red potion, and they just do a Hulk slam, which causes the shards. It's a little bit easier to see from this point. It causes a shockwave, which moves shards along. Now, it's not particularly powerful, but you know, it is what it is. The red causes grow flowers. Power flowers create hulks. Hulks generate a shockwave near the rock. Shockwaves travel from the rock towards the stash. Their power diminishes as they travel and when they move shards. If a shockwave moves 100 shards, it loses 100 power. Hulk shockwave is 5,000 and is increased by the multiplier. Now, the really interesting thing here is you can turn these off. I don't find the Hulk particularly useful. I think the Hulk might be useful for certain types of builds, but I've not played with any like that. So I'm going to tell them to stop growing the red petals. I only want blue and green now. We've got a lot of Hulk juice, my lord. Alright, well, not too much of the director juice, though. We'll see now. We might see a director get made in just a second. Let's have a look. Now, this doesn't cause you to lose any Gnorps. By the way, I kind of think it would be cool if it did. There we go. We've got a little Gnorp with gigantic eyes heading on over. Go on, you. You go and do your little director stuff. We'll come check in on you in a moment. Now, amplified observation or weak spot discovery is increased by 40% per active director with a maximum of 3 times increase with 5 directors. Let's grab that one. Enriched puke. Acid now multiplies damage by 2, up from 1.5. Let's grab that one. Not going to get singular shockwave because I'm not using Hulks. If we have Zybelium, then we can use flower power. It could be argued by some that the volume of flowers produced is not sufficient. Infusing flowers with more Zybe should alleviate that issue, doubles the speed of growth. That is absolutely worth grabbing, in my opinion. Right, we're getting to the very bottom of the Hulk flowers now. Now it does not surprise me at all that we've just got a new upgrade. Alright, we've unlocked sticky floral residue. Let's have a look at that, shall we? We also want weak spot. Let's grab you. We've got Mountaineers, King of the Pile. We've got Pocket Rockets, which is what we're going to go for our bombers. Concentration. Thanks to some non-volatile juice from the garden, bombers are now able to perhaps a little too well concentrate on the task at hand. Ah, good old concentration juice. Plus 0.2 damage per bomber. Range reduced to 0 to 2 from 1 to 3. Have got any directors on their way? I want to showcase them a little bit. It doesn't look like it, but we're going to see... Ah, there we are. That was a very blue petal focused juice there. It does seem to be random how they grow, but you'd see that if you got 2 that roughly it'll work out 50-50, but not per harvest. Sometimes the harvests are a little bit different, like seasonal. Right, we've got the last Hulk, I should imagine. Yeah, it's now below the threshold you'd need to have Hulks. But we can see we've got a couple of directors on their way. Oh, there's one currently stood on there. We can see that they're increasing the range a little bit. That's fantastic. Right, reclamation nullification. The rock might be fighting back now, but Gnorps shall prevail. When shards are collected, reclamation is prevented at an equivalent amount. If we have a look at over here, we've got King of the Pile, of course, pocket rockets. Not what we're looking for right now. We would like to get up to sticky floral residue. That's 7.8 million, though. Frankly, there is far too much knockback on these guns, posits Gnorps with guns. Perhaps our friends over at the garden can lend a hand. Sticky floral residue is attached to the legs of Gnorps with guns, significantly reducing the knockback of their guns. I don't believe it affects the balloon, because, why would it? They're not stood on anything. That being said, maybe it does, and I just haven't paid attention. It wouldn't be the first time. Right, we are going to go for... We're going to wait for the Gatling ammo at 2.3 mil. I think that's where we need that to be. We're currently bringing in 700,000 per minute, more or less. We could perhaps improve that by getting a larger capacity, and that is definitely worth it for us, or at the very least, getting more Gnorps. However, we want to grab this before it's too late, because that's going to produce way more Gnorps than we spent on it. And it'll be absolutely perfect. At this stage, this is honestly just managing itself in terms of when it shatters. We don't need to overthink it. Right, that put us back a little bit in terms of the Gatling Gnorp ammo, sadly. Also, we've been building a loads of houses because for a very brief time we were below the Gnorps that we needed. However, this has given us stupid amounts of Gnorps that we can now apply to the honourable profession of runners. Also, we've now got directors. Plus 10% geet chance per active director on the rock. Sure, let's go for that. And let's also increase this up to 40 runners, please. And indeed, thank you. We are going to... Sure, we'll take that up to 25. But now I'm going to hold on to my cash for a little bit. We absolutely want to get up to the point where we can get the Gatling Gnorp ammo, and then sticky floral residue not long after that. The next compression event will be spent on the garden, I think, though. Okay, here we go. Gatling Gnorp ammo is unlocked. Perfect. We can also spend a couple more Gnorps on getting actual rifle Gnorps out there, so that's going to increase the amount of potential chance for this to be iced up at the right time. Though honestly, at this point we've got so many rifle Gnorps that I think this is going to be frozen as often as it can be possibly frozen at this point. I don't think that we're really going to get much more out of that. In terms of the damage we're doing, we are so close to a compression event. I think we're going to get one as soon as this vomits up all of the shards. We'll have a watch of that. And... oh, no, it didn't. Interesting, okay. In terms of our geet chance, well, we could increase this, but we are far behind the amount of... collection versus damage, so I'm not really sure that's going to help us out too much. That being said, I mean, it would be nice, I suppose, but I think instead we're just going to focus on trying to increase our runner numbers. We're already up to 70. Let's go all the way up to 80. There we go. The next wallop of cash is going to be spent on increasing housing, I should imagine. And there we go. Compression event has happened, because of course, the more runners, the more geets, the more rockets get launched, so on and so forth. We are almost up to our first prestige. There we go. Prestige number 1. Now, at this point, we could go ahead and quickly prestige in order to unlock one thing in particular, and that would be the time shift delivery, which is a very, very potent effect. In fact, at that point, I could probably get rid of Bathe in the Fire and go back for Popcorn, which would keep fire damage, throwing all of the shards closer to the stash, and I think that might be where we want to go. All right, I'm going to take my own advice this time. We're going to prestige early and often for once. So let's go ahead and just prestige straight away. Not even going to wait to bring in the Zybellium. We're going to quickly return to 0. And given how little time this episode has been going on, we're going to get 2 prestige runs in this one, I think. Happy days. But you know what? I'm not going to force you to sit through and the whole beginning with me once again. So I'm going to just skip forward a little bit, bring you back when we've got the basics set up in the right place. Okay, there we go. Gnorp Propulsion Lab is a go. And we've got 330 spare shards. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use the Zybellium that we've already collected to get time shift impact. And then from this point on, we're just going to start collecting bombers. As many of them as we can get. As soon as we can get weak spot discovery, that will also be very useful. But right now, bombers are the primary order of business. We will obviously want to stop for an archery range as well, but getting at least up to 5-10 bombers early on is going to be an important one. Especially because every time they hit the rock, all of our runners are going to jump forward. We've currently got 20 runners. They've got a capacity of 10, so I have decently upgraded them. So things are looking well so far. Yeah, this peak is getting dangerously high at this point. I think it's time for us to bring out some Mountaineers of our own. Let's go for 3 Mountaineers at the start. They should help out. And our carriers are doing an amazing job now. We are currently up to 15 bombers, which are causing our runners to skip forward very aggressively. Now, they're not going to have any impact on the Mountaineers whatsoever, but that should be fine for now. They're going to help out quite a lot up there as is. This point, we're actually starting to progress through the levels at blistering speed. I'm just going to top up the multiplier there a little bit, and our Mountaineers have already dealt with the peak there. Fantastic. Getting this up to 7 columns, kind of unnecessary, but I'm going to do it anyway just because. Right, as for over here, we can now give them break time. This is going to cause them to very greatly slow down, though they're still getting the half a second time warp effect thanks to our bombers. But we definitely want to try and get that double carrying capacity as quickly as we can. What I would love to do in this run, whether we'll have time for it or not, is get up to 2 prestige. That will unlock the next milestone on the unlock, which is the Shrine, which is quite an interesting upgrade or building. It has quite a few funny upgrades connected to it. We could definitely increase the amount of runners that we have, but I'm kind of okay with the idea of us getting a compression event at this point. So I'm not necessarily going to do that, but just for the completeness sake, I want to take up capacity all the way up to the 20 of them. Nice round numbers. You know how it goes. Delivery rush wouldn't be a bad one either, though thinking about it, let's go ahead and pop down another 5 bombers over here. That is going to cause us to get a bunch more housing built, but that's okay for now, I think. Right, okay, focusing on getting capacity back up. Is there anything else we really need to do over here? I'll probably take Mountaineers up to 5, just, again, nice round numbers. That way they can deal with 5 separate peaks. But I strongly suspect that we are going to see a compression event happen extremely soon. And when... oh, there we go. I spoke too soon. Once that happens, the next unlock for us is going to be rocket arrows and probably the getting out the gunverse rock. In fact, we'll get gunverse rock straight up, and then we will go for rocket arrows as soon as the Zybellium is brought over. And how much help do you need? Let's see. 2, 3, 4. I want to try and stop it just as it's in front of the balloon. What? Oh, no, did I mouse over it? All of that work gone in a second. Bloody Zybellium is far too twitchy, I swear. No, I pressed it the wrong time. That's it. If you click on it when it's not fully white, then it'll cause it to fly away as if you just hover the cursor over it. Okay, I'm so sorry, balloon. That is on me. I have been a scallywag to you. I apologize. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and get the ice arrows from, well... no, we'll go for fire arrows this time, and we'll have ice over here. The reason for that is the time shift also affects the builder over here. You notice how they're just jumping forward by half a second every now and then. It's a little bit more subtle with the arrows, the Fletcher. I was going to say Arrowsmith, but whatever. I mean, it's technically true. Maybe they're all aluminium arrows that they're being given. Aluminium would be such a bad arrow material. But nevertheless, the arrowsmith is making the arrows nice and fast for us. But what we would like right now is rocket arrows. There we go. The Gatlinger will, the balloon gunner is already going to be doing amazing work with that. And that will itself be producing rockets every now and then. Not too many, but enough. Oh my lord. It looks like we're probably going to see another compression event very soon. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled for that. Though that being said, our collection is really good. It's very, very close. This is the effect of the time skip from having that many bombers, I suppose. I wouldn't mind getting some more then for that. Let's continue pushing things forward. We've now got a total of 25, and each time one of these bombers headbutts the rock, they skip all of our runners and the arrowsmith forward by half a second, which is pretty amazing, if you ask me. We'll get another rifle Gnorp there. It did take quite a lot of cash, but it's fine, I think. We're going to grab the grenade launcher as well, and then after that, we're going to get the Gatling Gnorp, because of course we want those beautiful, wonderful rockets. I could be pulling the Zybellium in, but honestly, at this point, it's better to just let the hot air balloon do its own thing. Next up then, probably going to want to go for speed, 166k. We're not actually that far off. We're almost gathering that much per minute by itself, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem for us. That being said, we could get another rifle Gnorp instead, which may be the play, frankly. We'll see. I think getting Geet up and running is definitely going to be worth it for us ultimately, so we'll wait on that one. Right, let's get a Gatling Gnorp out there. Let's also get some more bombers on the go, because more bombers equal more collection, and once we've got their collection attached to the rocket system as well, then more collection equals more damage equals more collection. It becomes a very, very satisfying system which just kind of feeds into itself. And there we go. We can get the Geet protocol already unlocked. Marvelous. I'm going to keep pushing capacity a little bit here and there, though. At this point, however, I'm going to buy one more house, and then we're going to wait on additional housing to be complete. I would like to see... Oh, do I need to get another one as well? No, there we go. Perfect. We will have... get additional housing up and running, because honestly, that just pays for itself so quickly. Where are we going to put this next bit of cash, though, I wonder? Or rather, next Zybellium. I'm honestly not sure. That's a good question. I could get another Gatling Gnorp, I guess. That being said, you know what? We haven't played around with the Academy whatsoever, and I think it would be fun to see how that works. So, sure, we're going to go ahead and we're going to activate the Academy. Let's get them out there, and we will see how this goes. Now, the only reason to do that right now is because we've got Zybellium on the go that we're going to be able to see very, very soon. Right, this is the Academy, where we train Zygnorps. A Zygnorp requires Zybellium to get. You can have them focus on a certain type. So the Gnorp lifts shards with their mind energy and sends them to the stash. Gains mind energy based on 40% of the shards delivered by runners, allowing them to lift an equivalent amount. They don't get sped up by time shift, but because the rate at which the runners are collecting does get sped up, they effectively benefit from time shift. You can further focus them. If you've got at least 20 runners, the Gnorps gain an affinity from runners, and it doubles the mind energy they gain. Or you can have them focus on drones, or you can have them focus on mountaineers, depending on what your primary collector is. But we're obviously going to grab one Gnorp. Now, we can have drone attunement as well, allow them to gain a little bit of mind energy from drones, or a little bit of mind energy from mountaineers. But honestly, right now, there is no reason for us to do that. And instead, you'll see our Gnorp. Where are you? Yeah, floating around over there. That's the Gnorp just throwing all of the shards back with their mind. They go straight into the stash. They don't carry them around, but first they gather them before they throw them. But as you can see, that one Gnorp is doing a lot, considering we've got 20 very heavily upgraded runners working on this problem right now. And that one Gnorp is... yeah, no, that's pretty wild, actually. I like it a lot. Let's get some more Geek Protocol going on going though. I think that would be very, very useful as well. The Garden is the next thing we want to go for if we can get another compression event, though honestly that's asking for a lot. Let's go for weak spot, so that we've got triple weak spots. That would be fantastic. And should we be able to get the cash together, I'm going to go for an Ultra Boost, which will multiply the bomber damage by 5, though honestly... That's 5 Gnorps and 150k to do it. They are such a small fraction of my total damage output, I don't think it matters. I very much don't think it matters. Instead, I'm going to invest in more rifle Gnorps, because they actually do a fair bit of damage. You don't see them down here on that, but it's the fire effect that they're causing. Remember, fire has got double effect for us, so that's quite a useful one. Look at that, marvelous. Absolutely fantastic. Okay. In terms of the Gnorps, they've pretty much had all of the upgrades that they're going to get. We want vulnerability, so we need that compression event so that we can get that vulnerability, because that's going to add in a staggering amount of potential damage there. We also want additional housing, so it's back and forth, back and forth. At this stage, I would say... the next compression event to additional housing, because that can trigger so many new Gnorps. And then we can dump them all into runners, which is going to help the Gnorps, which is going to help the rockets, and will get us to the next compression event, and so on and so forth. But look how quickly they demolished that as they stand. That's actually kind of terrifyingly effective. Okay, well done. Well done indeed. Do we want to take up their capacity a little bit more, or do I want to tell them to take a break? Honestly, I could just tell them to take a break, and this might help. Now, in terms of this, right now they gain a capacity increase based on runners. However, if I tell them to focus on the Gnorps, the runners look above and see the effortless grace of the Gnorps. Runners no longer need to jump to deliver. Now, that doesn't sound like much, but that is a huge increase in how quickly they're going to collect stuff. And so, yeah, I've just told them to take some downtime for this shift so that we can get to the compression event a little bit faster, which I think is a perfectly fine way of doing it. And that should give us our compression event. There we go. Perfect. Right, you're off break now. That was the last time you're going to get a break. I'm sorry, but it's just the way it's going to be. Given that, then, we're going to get the house first. So that means I kind of need to build a few more houses. Just only 2 more housing. That'll give us enough, and then I'll be able to get additional housing. And then with that, we're going to be able to dump a lot into our runners. An awful, awful lot. Let's go for capacity in the meanwhile. We're already starting to gather a little bit more than we did last time, but we've got a fair ways before we get to our first prestige point, and a long way before we get to our second. So I'm going to pass a little bit of time until we can afford the additional housing, which actually won't be very long at all. And then when we come back, we're going to continue looking for things that we can upgrade to get the most bang for buck. Okay, Zybellium is in the chamber. Additional housing has been purchased. And now we just see the flood of construction Gnorps heading out with their little, their flat pack homes on their shoulders, carried aloft by the jetpack so generously provided by the GPL. Thank you very much, GPL. Gnorp kind owes much to you, honestly. Okay, now we're seeing a lot of damage being done. This is glorious. Alright, we're going to want the next compression event before we can get vulnerability, and that is going to be an important one for us to get to. But in the meanwhile, we can continue upgrading the Geek protocol, and we've got a lot, you may notice, of available Gnorps for us to get out there and have them help out in the workforce. So let's go ahead and go straight up to, let's say, 65. Let's go for 65 runners. That is going to allow our Gnorp a staggering amount of carrying capacity. So that's going to start pushing us forward a little bit. We are, of course, going to want more bombers at this point as well. So let's continue doing that. Now, we can't get the pocket rockets because time shift impact is active, and that kind of nullifies pocket rockets. Sad, but true. However, I think this should be fine for now. We've got a lot of time shift happening at this point. Maybe if we can get... Well, maybe I should have gone for the bombers rather than from the runners, because honestly, our collection is way up there with the amount that we're producing, so we kind of need to increase the production at this point, which is a nice place to be, but also a very uncommon place for me to find us. Oh well. Right, well, we'll hold off on increasing runners for now. I'm going to continue to increase the amount of bombers that we have to try and, well, I mean, in effect, that increases the runners as well. But that will help out in production of arrows. We'll look to get a couple more rifle Gnorps as well, since they actually do a fair bit of damage with the flame arrows. And little by little, we will approach the point where we can get vulnerability on our rockets. I shall bring you back when there's more to report. Apparently, the Gatling has put in 13 requests for more ammo in the last 10 seconds. Would you like to accommodate them? Yes, let's increase the amount of ammo available to the Gatling. Now, I think we're going to have to wait to watch the first unload, but you're also going to see the effect on the balloon, I believe, because the balloon ends up drifting very far away as a consequence of all of this. But it's going to be really funny when the Gatling is emptied out there. The massive ammo clip there. Let's have I guess it would be a magazine, but honestly, I like the idea that all of that ammo is just very precariously balanced. It isn't actually belt-fed or in a magazine or anything like that. It's just balanced kind of Death Stranding style on top. There we go. That's even more Death Stranding style. There we go. That's clearly Mr. Reedus over there. Where the fetus is, though, I don't know. Well, actually, maybe it's the Zynob. Oh, my lord. That's that just occurred to me. Fair enough. Right, let's see. How are we going down here? We're going to increase the rockets amount so that we're getting more out of our runners, because right now, getting a compression event is actually shockingly hard. Who'd have thought it? We need that vulnerability. Clearly, my order of operations hasn't been the best, I'm going to be honest with you, and one of the biggest problems that I have is that even when I tell the runners to stop doing anything, the Gnorp carries on, and the Gnorp at that point is able to deal with like 1.3, 1.5 million worth of collection by itself. Right now, we are drastically underproducing. I really should have gotten more damage rather than more runners themselves. That being said, let's go ahead and invest more in bombs. I don't actually want the bombers for the damage, though. Understand, the bombers are there to increase the rate that we're producing arrows and increase the rate that we're producing, that we're actually geeting to create the rockets. As we can see, we are now launching rockets more or less constantly, which is exactly where we want it to be. We're going to get some more X rockets after this, and then on to more Y rockets, and we're just going to focus on increasing the rocket amounts for the next little while. And every time we get more housing, I'm going to invest it in more bombers to further increase the rate at which our carriers are able to collect all of the damage, all of the shards that we're producing, and also increase the shards that we're producing. Because ultimately, it's the rockets now that are doing the main body of work. Where does the Gatling end up now? When they have unloaded all of their bullets, where do they go? How far back do they end up? Where is the Gatlinger? I think we lose the Gatlinger. Oh, there they are. I think they go off screen. We need to watch this. Oh my lord, poor Gatlinger. Though, look at that. We're actually almost up to the point of an extra prestige, which I'm very happy with. And looking at the time, we've done this in more or less just a little bit under the time that a single episode usually takes to do. Let's follow the Gatlinger for now. I want to see how far back the Gatlinger goes. That's right, keep it up. There we go. I mean, I can only assume that the knockback from firing little mini rockets is slightly higher than the knockback from firing bullets. So it stands to reason that the Gatlinger just slowly gets pushed further and further back. And again, they're firing twice as much. Oh my god. How far back do they go? Where are the... Alright, fair enough. And there we are. I think they stopped. They've got a long walk back, to be fair. Bless them. I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was asking you to do something quite so crazy, but here we are. Right. Have we got enough to increase? Yes, we do. Marvelous. Now we got 5 X rockets as well. Bearing in mind we get 5 X rockets out of each Y rocket, and we're now firing 5 Y rockets as well, so that's a fair bit of increase. The next upgrade is going to cost us a cool 6 million, but hopefully it'll bring us closer to the point where we're going to be able to cause a compression event. We will see. Hey, compression event! I did tell them to take a break, but I waited until they had filled this place up with so much shards that they had a stockpile of shards for the rockets, and that managed to push us over the edge. Oh, thank goodness. I was getting a little bit concerned that we weren't going to see that again. All right, now time for vulnerability, and once we've got vulnerability, maybe we'll get to the garden as well. But that is going to be a big help, because vulnerability is, of course, going to cause a lot of damage to be done very quickly. Let's try and help out the balloon by bringing these in a little bit so that the balloon only has to... okay, well, I'll do the opposite then of help. I'll actually be a scallywag and cause... that's accidentally quite close. Okay, well, I'll allow the Gatling balloon to come back down, but oh my lord, they're going to take ages to come back down because they're probably nearby the moon at this point, thanks to all the knockback. However, with 4 Gnorps and 1.1 million available, let's increase the Geek protocol. In fact, we're going to start putting a lot more into the Geek protocol. We've got 3 million and 5 Gnorps are going to be needed for that. That's unfortunate because it cost me 5 million to build more housing, which is a bit of a pain. So it's going to cost 5 million and then another 3 million. So just shy of 8 million to get up to Geek protocol 30%. But that will help out a lot, actually. We will start seeing a lot more rockets going. This Gnorp is certainly not doing as much work as they could. Okay, that's a bit better. They're now bouncing up and down on the button pretty actively. Okay, well, occasional long bounces, and every now and then they get off the thing. Oh, you know what? That's fine. I can't expect you to drink tea whilst you're bouncing up and down on a button. You need a moment every now and then to get off the button in order to pick up the teacup and take a sip. That is reasonable. I'm not the sort of savage employer that would expect his workers not to be able to have some tea breaks every now and then. But have we picked up the Zybanium? We have, and it is on its way. Ah, fantastic. Okay. Not too bad. Oh my lord, look at them go. The second anything is there, they are just on the move. It's kind of wild. And I am liking the fact that these launches are now more or less synchronized, though there is a little bit of variation on the rockets when they launch, which honestly is not bad. I kind of like it. I'm going to be honest. Right, time for vulnerability. Let's go. Okay, next up, we want the Geek protocol, which is going to require another 5 million. Yes, like we said. But that's fine. We should be seeing some vulnerability happening now, which is going to have an amazing effect if we can time that to happen when it's frozen. It froze just after vulnerability, but that's okay. Still storing up all of that damage and then vomiting it all the way over to the stash. Perfect. Exactly what we need. Right, we're up to 6 million. Let's... no, it looks like we've already got that on the go. Perfect. Right, let's get Geek Protocol up to 40% now. Alright, almost half of the shards being collected by our runners are going into the rocket program. However, one thing to be aware of is that there does seem to be a limit. You notice how it reached that limit and then they only threw it into the stash from that point on. They don't seem to just waste it. Like, you're not going to get to a point where they are bunny hopping forever and there's no chance that they will ever catch up and get a break. Like I said, they've got to have some time to jump off the button and have a sip of tea. Because you can't expect them to do that with fine, delicate china whilst they're bouncing up and down on a big red trampoline button. Oh, I think this one's going to be a good one. I think that vulnerability happened after the freezing happened. Yep. Look. Oh, wow. That was a good ways, almost 2/3 of the way there to causing a compression event. That was actually pretty amazing. I have no idea how many rockets are in the sky now at any one time, but that looks like it's able to trigger a vulnerability every 20 seconds. That's a nice place to be, I'm going to be honest. That's a very nice place to be. We'll see how much that spits out because we're almost down. Yeah, we're almost done. Unless we get the vulnerability just after it's frozen, we don't even come close to a compression event now, it seems. That being said, though, we've got a fair bit of cash there, so let's increase the Y rockets. We're almost up to 2 prestige, which I'm extremely happy about, and we do have room for a little bit more collection to happen in order to get us there. So we'll have to see about that one, but at the present moment, I think maybe the difference between collection and damage is an artifact of the fact that there are periods where there's nothing to collect. So my runners are just sat there idle. Wow, okay, that would definitely happen during a vulnerable shatter moment. Okay, not bad at all, not bad at all. We need to get up to 15k to get, 15 million to get the X rocket upgrade, and I think we're easily going to be able to get that. Look at those rockets going though, that's absolutely bonkers. we would need 6 Gnorps to be able to get the next Geek Protocol. We did actually get a compression event as well. Okay. Wasn't expecting that, if I'm honest. That's kind of amazing. Alright, well, let's see about getting the garden up and running then. We could, of course, get another Xynor, but there's really no point. Oh, I'm noticing that some mountaineers are occasionally helping out, so I'll... No, it takes a Gnorp, and they're so valuable at this point. Oh god, it's so beautiful. I just need a little bit more cash. Come on. There we go. More rockets, and at this point, all of these will be turning into those rockets, which is glorious. And then we're going to unlock the garden. Let's get the garden on the way. Pump. Now, I can only imagine how much damage we're going to be doing once we've got the puke flowers going on as well. So the first thing we're going to do is promptly turn off red flowers. Then we're going to turn on amplified observation and enriched puke. There we go. Doesn't sound great, I know, but, you know, it is what it is. Oh, the Mountaineers get a synergy with the Hulk, do they? Yeah, ah, yes, of course they do. When they jump on shards, they will knock some shards flying. Honestly, the Mountaineers are doing nothing right now. They are in perpetual downtime. We will get concentration, though, sure. And we're also going to increase the amount of bombers that we have. We also want to get sticky floral residue because, you know, we're gathering so much cash now. It's just, why not? We are... Well, we're making a bit of progress towards the 3rd. Will we be able to do that? I don't know. I think that's asking for an awful lot, frankly. I think that's really pushing our luck at that point. Look at all of these. It would be cool if once you got, like, 2... towers stacked next to each other, they kind of joined into a very dense tower block. I think that would actually be kind of cool. Over here, things are going well. I would love another Zybelium to double the rate at which we produce flowers, but we'll see what this does. This is an entire field of observer flowers. Okay. That's a pretty interesting one. That is going to mean that we may end up with 5 observers on the rock at the same time. That will affect, if we have a double check, +1 to the max range to all generated shards. Minimum and max range. So fire is almost going to just go straight into the collection depot. And do we have something that gives anything extra thanks to that? I'm not sure. There are some upgrades we can get for directors, but we'll have to see. I'm willing, though, since this is going to be the end of the episode once we prestige, I'm willing to give a little bit more time for our Gnorps to see if they can push up to 3 prestige. I think that's asking an awful lot, but I'm willing to ask that question, sure. There we go, a nice little tower over there. Loads of shards straight into the rocket. We're up to 26 million per house. My lord, that is just bonkers. That being said, it's 24 million for a rocket now as well. Oh well, yeah, you know, you need money to make money, as the saying goes. Our Gatling is having a much better time of things now that they've got that sticky floral residue. They stopped just before the gun shop. I can only imagine that this is the best upgrade. An early birthday present and Christmas present for the next 5 birthdays, all in one. Alright, let's have a look. Oh my god, look at the rockets, though. That's so many. Alright, well, we've bought more housing already, so case of us saving up for a little bit more rockets to see if we can just push this just a little bit more, because right now, we are more or less matching our collection. It is all down to getting potentially the prime, the holy trinity of effects, frozen, puked, and vulnerable at the same time, and possibly also on fire. So the 4 effects, but we'll keep it to the Holy Trinity. That will maybe push us over the amount of damage that we're going to need. We'll have to see. We've got 1 active director, 2 active directors now. They only have 20-second duration each. But at this point, a lot of the shards are just going straight into the collection. We are almost there. We just need a little bit more of that. Another 2 or 3 directors at the same time. And I think this might push us over the collection threshold. Possibly. And to that end, I kind of want to just tell them to just be directors. But I know that that won't really work. We need the puke to cause the massive damage upgrade. But it's just timing at this point. If we can just let the game run for a little bit, we may see all three effects active at the same time, plus one or two directors on there to mean that fire is going to kick all the shards directly into the stash. At that point, we'll probably be able to push past it. We'll see. And there we go, we got up to 3. I didn't even have to wait to buy another Y rocket. It just happened because eventually our collectors were given enough shards to collect. My lord, we got a lot of rockets now, though. That is frankly ridiculous. And our multiplier is up to 12.4. I believe our multiplier increases based on every working Gnorp, or every 4 working Gnorp. So I suppose, with that in mind, let's go ahead and get more Gnorps on the job. There you go. Get out there, be more bombers. In fact, let's continue to increase this. And that, in turn, increases the multiplier, which in turn gets us a little bit closer each time. Am I going to wait for 4? No, of course I'm not. That would just be crazy talk. That being said, maybe? No, that would be bonkers. That's crazy talk. Though we're almost at a compression. Oh, my lord. I'm getting sucked in. How does this always happen? Another compression event just happened all in one go. Because, again, we had the vulnerable, we had puke, and we had frozen, and fire, and a couple of directors. Sorry, no, the directors weren't there, rather, and that was specifically why we had the compression event, I imagine, because it just generates a huge amount of shards. How far are we? We're at tier 8 of 10. Okay, that's pretty impressive. We're still a fair ways from the 3rd prestige, but that gives us one last point to spend. Should we see if pushing up flower power is going to get us enough collection, thanks to directors, for us to be able to push through? I think it's very unlikely, but I love the idea of it, so I'm going to go ahead and time skip and just see if we can push it all the way up to 4. If we can get to 4, what do we unlock? We'd be 1 behind the last unlock. Already we've got the shrine unlocked, and we can spend on 3 items in here as well, which is going to be quite nice. But we'll see. Let's see if I can't push all the way up to 4. I'm going to give it like 5 minutes, not more than that. Okay, now the trees are growing fast. That is perfect. Okay, we may be able to see enough production of this that we're going to be able to push past the into the 4th prestige point. Again, not sure if we're going to make it there, but I'm going to give it 5 minutes now with the double speed flower growth and see if that's enough. Also, of course, I'm going to continue to increase the number of our workers. We need another 2 bombers, and we have another 2. Fantastic. Also, we've got another 2 rifle knobs, and we'll be up to 10. But they, frankly, are costing exorbitant amounts now. 164 million per rifle. What are those rifles made out of? Okay, I've gone up to 8 Y rockets now, but honestly, I don't think we're going to be able to get there right now. We just can't do enough damage. Our collection is capable of matching whatever damage we're doing, but we're just not able to do enough of it outside of spectacular timing, and that is just not something I'm going to wait around for. So again, take my advice. Prestige early and often, and do what I say, not what I do, because I stayed way longer than I should have, but I'm very happy that we managed to get up to 3 prestige points with this one. Alright, well with that, let's go ahead and prestige and see how we're going to spend our hard-earned prestige points. We're going to unlock a whole new building passively just because we pass a milestone, but we've got a couple of other decisions to make yet. Oh, look at all of those rockets, and it can get a lot more wild than this, frankly. Right, there we go. All the rockets are heading off. We'll see one last volley before we switch over. There we go. All right, onwards to the next episode then. Let's have a look at what we're going to be playing with, though. Let's have a quick see. Now we've got 3 more points to play with. We have unlocked the shrine. That was going to be an interesting one to showcase. Now there are a couple of things in here. We've got vulnerability empowerment. Make the rock pay. Pay for what? It took our shards. Well, I mean, it took back its shards, I think. But vulnerability deals double the damage. When vulnerability activates, the rock returns all shards it took in the last 10 seconds. That one's going to kind of be wild. So we're going to take that one. Also, arrows last hurrah. What if arrows also dealt damage long after they were fired? When a stuck arrow expires or is removed from the rock, it deals 120 shards worth of damage with a range of 7 to 10. That means it can put it in the stash. All arrows are worse. Only 1 out of every 20 arrows sticks to the rock now, down from 1 out of 3. but arrows generated by future to the back are no longer brittle. Not all arrows can leave a stuck arrow. Now, just to come back, arrows generated by future to the back are brittle. So Gatling bullets are regular arrows and rifle bullets are ice or fire arrows. We shoot a lot of rocket arrows at this point, so taking this means that we're going to, even though we've dropped it down from 1 to 3, it is now to 1 to 20. That's still probably going to result in more arrows being stuck in there than we had before. And finally, we can either go for the directors will increase the multiplier by +2 instead of +1, or return to sender. Some arrows survive the impact of hitting the rock. Let's make use of them. Stuck arrows can now be retrieved by directors when they leave the rock. Retrieved arrows are delivered to the archers. 1 out of 3 of arrows are retrievable. Now, this will be 1 out of 20, but they just get sent back to our archers, which means our archers are potentially not even going to need the timey-wimey shenanigans in order to get arrows. There'll just be stupid amounts of them there, thanks to our Gatlers. Either way, that's the one that we're going to be picking. There we go. We've locked it in. Wow. The list of modifiers now is actually quite ridiculous. There we are. Let's get all of the shards ready for the next run. I do hope you enjoyed this one, though. We'll be joining me for the next. Managed to get through 2 full runs, and maybe we'll do that next time. How many more until we unlock this? Only 2. Depending on how quickly we get there, next episode may actually be the last episode. If we manage to prestige and unlock this milestone early enough, as we did with things today, then the run after that is probably going to be the winning run. We'll see how it goes, but thank you very much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. But until then, and as always, do take care, everyone.